The placebo effect. Here today to talk about the placebo effect and faith-based healing. It's a question I get a lot because I deal in voodoo, apparently, and get a lot of questions about whether this works more if we believe it works more and whatnot. And from studying what I study, I guess that's a very deep question because it goes to the deeper question of, is it all in our head? Well, all of this existence is sort of all in our head, so by definition everything is all in our head, and everything works based on the placebo effect and faith-based healing or faith-based eating or faith-based living or whatever you want to throw in there. So basically I'll start like this. Biology of Belief, by the way, is one of the best books in the world on this matter, Dr. Bruce Lipton. And he talks about in the pharmaceutical world, they'll do a study and they'll come out with all this data, and then they'll say, well, the placebo effect worked 40% of the time, but we're just going to throw that away and we're going to look at this other data that we got. And he's like, no, you're throwing away the most important part. And it's true. Why are we throwing away the most important part? Why is the placebo working 40% of the time? And it goes back to how our thoughts really do create all of our reality. There's proof of that in all directions. The more you look for proof of that, the more you're going to find it. The interesting thing about that statement is, in science, the more you look for anything, the more you're going to find it. Why is that? Well, because the statement, our thoughts create all of our reality, is true. So that means whatever you set out to prove with science, there's a really good chance you're going to prove it in some way. You know, you can twist data, you can change data, the data of the experiment can actually change based on your thoughts. So lots going on in that realm. So let's talk a little bit about the chemistry of the body and why this all works, though, from a science perspective, because, you know, we don't want a faith-based answer here, right? We want a scientific answer on this faith-based question and placebo effect. So we're going to throw some science. Why not? When we have any thought, it creates chemical reactions. Everything in the body is a chemical reaction. When I say everything, that's what I mean. So everything is a chemical reaction, and as our thoughts are thinking things, little chemicals are being made. Molecules of Emotion, another great book. Don't remember the author. But all molecules in the body can either trigger an emotion or have something to do with an emotion. Also, all the molecules in our body have an energetic state, which is why it's very dangerous to have man-made molecules in the body, because humans, well, I was about to sell out men there. I'm going to go ahead and stay with that. Men think they know more about molecular chemistry than they do when they start making things and they want to put them in our bodies. And energetically, they just don't understand enough to be playing in that realm yet. Maybe one day. So you may address this concern in the body with what you just created with your molecule, but now you've created all these other concerns that now need to be addressed because energetically you shifted a bunch of things you didn't understand. But so let's take this pharmaceutical and take that scenario. If I believe that this pharmaceutical is the right thing for my body and it's going to help my depression, it's going to lower my cholesterol, it's going to do all those things. I'm not saying, by the way, that it's not going to do any of those things chemically, but I'm saying that I believe that it's going to. Will it help me more? Well, of course it's going to help me more, because my chemistry in my body is going to be created through my thoughts so that it will help me more. Like, most literally, chemically, molecularly, it will help me more because my thoughts think it's going to help me more. And so it's a very simple equation, actually, when you get that everything is chemical and that thoughts create chemicals. And if you don't get that part, I think most scientists would agree with that. I don't know where the logic breaks down, where most scientists wouldn't agree with what I'm talking about here. But this is all just basic science, that our thoughts, yes, of course they make molecules, and yes, those molecules are emotions. Sure, emotions are represented by molecules, and whatnot. So I think most scientists would agree with most of what I've said so far. And so we can take this with anything. We can take this with the drugs we take. We can take this with the essential oils that we put on our body. We can take it with the food we eat. What did we believe it was going to do to our body? How did we think it was going to affect us? And those thoughts are going to affect us just like whatever we put in our body is. It's not that whatever we're putting in our body doesn't affect us at all, and everything is controlled by our thoughts, because there is a collective belief around what this pharmaceutical is, or what this, we've all agreed that this is this, and this is this, and this is this, and so from a collective consciousness point, we have that to deal with, like, oh, well, that's what these things are, and that's established, and that's just what it is. And so that is what it is for us. And see, now I probably lost a few scientists, so that's all right. We'll continue on. But so, as we break things down and say, well, how much of it is real and how much of it is my belief around it? Well, everything is our belief around it, truly. But our belief is also affected by the collective consciousness, and the construct that we see around us and we believe to be true. Why do we believe it to be true? Because everyone else does, and it's fun, and we wanted to live in 3D, so we chose it, and we came down here. And even though I'm getting torn up by mosquitoes, but I'm doing this video for you guys because I wanted the beautiful natural light change. And I'm choosing to believe that they're not biting me, and I don't think I'm getting beat up too bad. They're just flying all around me. Choosing to believe that they're not flying around me. All right, back on point, Joseph. So, as we break down what's going on inside of the body, and we're looking at what's real and what's not, well, all the different molecules at work, whether they were created by our thoughts or created by whoever created them, whether it be a collective or an inventor of a molecule like a pharmaceutical or whatnot, they all have to do with a thought at some point. I mean, they were a thought, or some form of a thought, or some form of a creation, and they became what we now call real. And they're affecting us in a way that they were meant to affect us. But how much does it have to do with how we believe they're going to affect us? Well, it's huge because of the molecules that are created from it. And so I'm going to give a quick example based on food. If I eat, last night, what did I have? Goo pie or something like that. I went to the House of Pie. I don't believe that I should keep myself from eating pie at the House of Pie just because I understand carbs and sugar and all that stuff. So I mostly stay off of carbs and sugar. I'm working on giving up gluten. But if I go to the House of Pie, I don't want to have someone ask me tomorrow, did you have pie? And I say, oh no, because I'm so healthy that I had to say no to pie. I'm so healthy that I get to say yes to pie. So anyway, so I have my pie, and I believed it was the best thing in the world for me. It did end up making me a little sleepy. So there was a real reaction in my body from the pie. But it's not going to affect me in negative ways as bad if I were to say, oh my God, I can't believe I'm eating this pie. Wow, this is going to be so horrible for me. Oh, it's so bad. Oh my God, can you imagine how bad the ingredients are in this? Oh, it's like poison. Oh my word. I mean, Jesus, this is the worst thing anyone's ever eaten. Oh God, it's horrible. And, that's how I consume the pie. And people do that. They do that all the time. And then the next day, what am I saying? Oh, I can't believe I ate that pie. Oh my God, I ate that pie. And then, 3 days from now, oh, let me tell you about the pie I ate. It was so awful. I can't even believe I did it. I still can't believe I ate that whole pie, or that whole piece of pie. Oh my, I ate the whole pie. And you can see how 3 days later, the pie is gone. I mean, for all practical purposes, the pie is gone from my body. But is it still affecting us? Well, if we're still beating ourselves up as it is, yeah, sure, it's affecting us in a negative way, negative being in quotes. But what if we brag about how this pie has been helping us feel better? And, oh my God, I can't believe this pie I ate 2 days ago, it's changing my mood. It's like changing every part of my body. I can feel it. Even when I start talking about it, oh my God, I feel even better. There's the trick, right? When I start talking about it, I feel even better. That's weird. So, if we're putting those words and those thoughts into anything, it's going to affect us. I mean, it's going to affect us in a positive or negative way. Like they say in conscious language, Bob Stevens stuff, any thought affects us in a positive or negative way. I mean, any thought's going to bring us either more towards what we want or more towards what we don't desire. See, I said want right after talking about Bob Stevens. Sorry, Bob. Want is to desire without having. And conscious language is one of the most powerful books on the planet. It teaches you a lot of this stuff because a lot of times we spell words, right? How do you spell that? It's a spell, you guys. We're creating spells with what we speak and what we think. Or we're literally creating spells because we are creating in our little pot, which is our human body, mostly in our stomach. We're creating these chemicals out of our thoughts, and then we're letting these chemicals loose on our body to do all these different things. And then what do we believe those chemicals are going to do once created? Well, that matters too, obviously, as I've just spoken about. So that's the basics of all that. So, do I recommend going to a faith-based healer? Do you believe in the faith-based healer? Then yes. Do you not believe and think it's total bullshit and think that these faith-based healers are stealing people's money and all? Don't waste your time. I mean, it's probably going to be worse for you because you have a negative energy around it, and the whole time you're around this faith-based healer, you're going to be thinking all this negative crap, and then you're going to show up as, you're going to hurt their numbers, Don't do that to them. You're going to hurt their bottom line and hurt their statistics by going if you don't believe in them. So let's keep everyone going to the faith-based healers to be faith-based. Everyone taking the pharmaceuticals to believe that, I don't care what people believe about pharmaceuticals, but the point is that whether you believe that they're going to help you or believe that they're not, you're right. That's an old Henry Ford quote, I mean, I bastardized, but it's a Henry Ford quote. So that, that's about all I got for you this morning. I wanted to give you guys a beautiful natural light change. Let you see my no makeup face has been the big thing on Teal Tribe. My eyes have not quite woken up yet. I figured I'd wake up with the planet as I talk to you about faith-based healing and the placebo effect. Thank you for watching my video. As always, and namaste, y'all. Much love and peace.